Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I understand we're doing this podcast and that you've been provided with a number or agenda of items that we're going to be covering off. I have assistants here and my director, I'm just curious, Eva, is there going to be a question answer period, or how is this working? Or I'm just going through the material?
Yeah, just going through.
Okay. Hope everyone is staying safe. As we start to open up, real estate market will start changing. I'm going to go through briefly our 10 topics for this afternoon. First one is wills. During the COVID-19 emergency, the government came out and allowed that wills could be signed remotely, that they could be witnessed by people in a remote aspect. And now what we have at this point is, as of Friday, June the 19th, the ability to have witnesses sign with a remote person signing a will stop. During this period of time, it was required when signing a will remotely that there be one licensed individual with the law society. It could be either a licensed paralegal or licensed lawyer. Unless those rules are extended, Friday will be the last day in which you can have a will signed remotely. But again, until that time, one of the witnesses must be a lawyer or a licensed paralegal with the law society. Two, bit of an update on news dealing with Cresford. There were a number of projects that went under receivership. Two of the projects, I'm made to believe that there is a buyer that will work through the court to take over. And in certainly one of those projects, the new buyer, the new builder who's taking over, is making available previous or original buyers the ability at a discounted rate to re-sign on a new agreement of purchase and sale. The sort of jewel in the Cresford crown is 33 Yorkville, and that is still underway in terms of finding a buyer. And again, all of these projects will be sold under a court order, and what will happen is that all the original agreements of purchase and sale will be terminated, and in most of the projects, if not all, there will be an opportunity for the original buyers to rebuy, but it will be at a higher price, although there may be a discount provided. This obviously will not help agents that were anticipating commissions, and that would be a different story. Next area of interest during this COVID-19 period have been rental and mortgage payments. Generally speaking, I'll touch on the residential area, and that the government had come out on when dealing with residential tenants that landlords are not allowed to evict tenants even if they don't pay for the rent. The landlord-tenant tribunal is also closed, so you can't go to court with a tenant to have them evicted or to deal with issues. During this period of time, also, we've had many residential property owners make arrangements for deferral of their mortgage payments. And certainly in the early fall, these deferred mortgage payments will start coming due, and that will be an issue that we'll have to deal with in the next few months. I hope that there will be some arrangement for owners to continue deferring their mortgage payments. Otherwise, unfortunately, you are going to see defaults, and you may end up seeing an increase of properties going under power sale and eventually going on the market with increased inventory. Obviously, that could well have a negative effect on price and supply and demand. In the sort of tied into the mortgage payments or rental, on the commercial side, there's a new program. Well, not that new, I should say, but there is a commercial program for commercial tenants where the government has stepped in, and in conjunction with the tenant and landlord, there is this program where the landlord will receive 75% of the rent from government sources. Very basically, the way the program works is that the landlord reduces their rent by 25%. Landlord reduces the rent by 25%. The tenant pays 25%, and the government pays the landlord 50%. There are a number of agreements that have to be signed between the landlord and tenant, and certainly our office has been busy in this area. We have a package of agreements. You need various agreements such as a rent reduction agreement, and we are assisting our landlord and our tenant clients in this program. To qualify, rents, I believe, cannot be more than $50,000 a month, and there is a threshold. I believe that your revenues have to be down at least 70%, but the program is there. Dealing with Sarah, there was the $2,000 a month program, and just within the last 24, 48 hours, that program, I understand, has been extended for another 8 weeks. So we have that program underway. Our next topic, and it seems to come under dealing with COVID consequences. We've had many clients that are in pre-construction contracts dealing with the deferral of deposits. We have contacted builders for many of our clients, and we have been fortunate enough to work with builders, and we've been able to defer the payment of deposits anywhere between 1 to 6 months, which makes it much easier for our clients or prospective buyers on a pre-construction from a cash flow perspective. Next area is assignments. Assignments were going very strong, and then we hit the COVID-19 period, and things seem to have slowed up. Also, there have been a number of assignees that have been trying to terminate their assignment transactions because of cash flow issues and the concern of where the real estate market is going. Dealing specifically with cancellation of projects, I turn your attention to paragraph 17 of the pre-printed real estate board assignment agreement. And it says there that if the seller, in this case the builder, is unable to, if they don't close through no fault of the assignor or assignee, that the assignor has to return all monies to the assignee. Aside from paragraph 17, we have worked with agents who act on behalf of assignors and assignees in terms of working out provisions in the assignment agreement where we try to balance the interests of assigners and assignees. Assignee may say, look, I don't want to pay all the money I'm paying for this assignment up front or at the time the assignment agreement is signed or consented to by the builder, because I'm concerned the project could be canceled. What we're doing is we have provisions that would require the assignee to pay the monies to their lawyer held in trust until we have that assignment closing date. That protects the assignee in terms of a project being potentially canceled, and protecting the assignor to know that the monies will be there when the assignment consent is given and everything is proceeding. I mentioned before, we are going through a period of time of uncertainty where agreements of purchase and sale may have been signed before the COVID-19 lockdown and are now, people are going to try and close. We have cases where buyers are trying to get a reduction in purchase price. We need extensions of closings due to mortgage financing. Generally speaking, buyers and sellers, certainly from our experience, have been working together. There's only been a couple of cases where purchase prices have been reduced, but in most part there have been no reductions in purchase price, and generally our transactions have closed. Remedies for a seller: if a buyer can't close because unable to get mortgage financing, or seller, there's no cash flow, seller may have lost a job, the remedies for a seller remain the same even though we're in this COVID period. If a buyer doesn't close, is unable, or refuses to close, then the seller has a right to go against the deposit money, relist the house, and sue for any damages suffered. We have come across, we've had, I would say, out of every 100 closings, there may be 2 to 5 cases where we're dealing with a sale where tenants are not leaving. 50% of those cases have not been able to close because a tenant refuses to leave, and a buyer has walked away due to that. In other cases, a tenant, the landlord seller tries to motivate the tenant by perhaps providing first and last month's rent money for them to move to another unit. But generally speaking, if you're going to be selling a home and there's a tenant there, you better be very careful. Make sure your notices, proper notices, are prepared and served. And even where you've had the notice sent to the tenant, tenants during this emergency period of time are not required to move out. There's nothing that you can do at this point in time. So be very, very careful if you're selling a home and there's a tenant in it. Remote signing. With remote signing, we are doing it in conjunction with Law Society rules, we use a variety of methods. We do have clients coming to our office. We've taken COVID protocols when clients come to our office to sign. We even can have a Zoom signing within the office where the party signing is in one part of the office and the lawyer is in another part of the office. In addition, we carry on Zoom signings remotely, where we will scan an email or provide the paperwork for signing in advance. And a member of our firm will have a Zoom conference with the buyer, seller, the client, and we'll arrange for signing in that method with the return of the signed paperwork thereafter. We always find a way of signing remotely if people are overseas. We use a variety of computer apps, social media apps to allow for remote signing. Dealing with clients in China, we will still use WeChat. We always find a way of dealing with it, so it's not necessary that a client, if they should have some concern about COVID-19 and concern or health concerns, they do not have to attend our office. As I said, we use social media as a platform to remotely sign people. Extensions on closing, yes. In the pre-construction area and even resale, sellers, builders have been very open or understanding of the difficult times we're going through, and have for the most part been open or understanding of the difficulties, especially with mortgage financing, getting the mortgage instructions in time, and dealing with signing. So I would say about 25% of our closing files have required extensions, and other than one or two files where there was a tenant involved who refused to leave, all our closings we've managed to complete, although there have been extensions. For the most part, extensions have not been drastic. They've been anywhere from a day to 2 weeks. So we've been very fortunate in that sense. I basically have briefly gone over our 10 topics today. And so we covered off wills, remotely signing wills during the COVID-19 period, and to remember that June 19 is the last day unless it gets extended. 2, we've dealt with the Cresford cases, the projects. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our office. If you have questions from an agency point of view in terms of commissions, or you have a client who's on an assignment, or a client who's purchased, we can assist in that way. Next, in a larger area, we're dealing with residential rental issues, residential mortgage payment deferrals, commercial tenant rent payments, and the new commercial rent reduction program. If you or any of your clients or people you know need assistance, please contact us. And as I said before, we have a commercial rent reduction program package available for use. Dealing with deferral of deposits on pre-construction, we're there. If you have questions with assignments, you need assignments reviewed, we can do that and we'll assist you on that. If any of you are agents, brokers, and have issues with buyers or sellers trying to terminate agreements, please contact us and we can give you attention or advice on an individual basis. Again, remote signing. Please be in touch with us if we can help you, and we can facilitate remote signing. At this time, I will have our director, Eva Fung, say a few words, and I'll let her take over. Okay, just one moment.
好，非常谢谢 Garry 律师。这边的话，我相信很多我们是说国语的一些客人，你们可以直接加我的微信。然后的话，如果你们也有客人都是说英文、说中文都没有关系，我们办公室的话有各种语言提供给大家服务。然后这个是我的微信 ID， 因为今天比较匆忙，没有做那个 PPT 哈，大家可以加一下我的微信。这样的话，加上微信之后的话，可以直接跟我联系。所以说语言上不会有任何的问题，大家可以记一下是 EVAFENG__. 下划线。好。
We might as well go. Hey, how are you?